Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I wanted to talk to you guys all about how I take care of my cat Pepper as a flight attendant. Of course, this has been a long journey and we're coming up on 3 years, and this has not only been a lifestyle change for myself, but it's also been a lifestyle change for my cat Pepper. And today I'm going to share with you guys 10 tips. As always, if you have any pets and you're a flight attendant, please feel free to drop down some tips down below for the Pristine Posse. Add to the conversation. Let me know what type of pets you guys have down in the comments. Make sure to chat me up. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the Pristine Posse if you haven't already done so. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Number one, first things first, before you even go off to flight attendant training, if you have a pet, well, let's just say you do have a pet. If you have a cat, please write down all of their patterns. So if they talk a lot, do they talk a lot? Are they chatty? Their sleeping patterns? If they shed, like how often do they shed when you brush the hair? How much hair do you typically brush? Log how many times they poop, if they eat all their food, if they kind of leave their food per day. Like, definitely track all of these things, because once you become a flight attendant and you're going to be gone from time to time, there may be some differences. And for me personally, I was noticing things, but it was like I couldn't remember if he normally does this or if maybe I'm tripping. Like, I felt like he was shedding a lot more, and I kept saying, okay, he normally sheds, maybe I'm just over exaggerating because I've been gone for 3 or 4 days. In reality, Pepper does shed a lot more since I've become a flight attendant, and he sheds more because he's stressed, and part of being stressed for him is that he sheds a lot. So I learned that my cat has separation anxiety, and part of having separation anxiety is an increased amount of shedding. He also will overeat his food. So those are 2 main things. And of course, crying, but then that goes away. But he does to this day have separation anxiety. So definitely write down the normal habits so you can compare. Also, I never used to look at how many times he would number 2 in a day or number 1 in a day, but his anal glands got infected. Now, I remember one day looking at his little butt and I was like, it doesn't look like how it normally looks, but then I don't even remember what it normally looks like. So I was just like, maybe I'm just tripping. Whole time his anal glands were infected and he could barely poop. He was straining and his poop was really hard. He was constipated. So definitely be a better cat mom than I was and track these things. Take a picture of them, take a picture of their butt, take a picture of everything, their nose, all that stuff, so that if you see any changes, you can refer back to that picture to reevaluate. Not only do I have a picture of his anal glands infected, but I also have a picture of his anal glands in a normal, healthy state. And now from time to time, I do check his litter box and just make sure he's not constipated. So basically right after he number 2s, then I will go grab some gloves and just like fill the poop to just make sure it's not like super hard. You'll know if your cat is constipated, because it's going to be like really hard and he will have just pooped, and it shouldn't be like that. But yes, so go ahead and just track all of those normal habits before you leave. Tip number 2 is going to be if you are moving to another place. In my example, I was moving from Atlanta to Dallas. So that was a big move. Now, one thing that I've learned since I've moved from Atlanta to Dallas and then I moved again while I was in Texas is that with Pepper, it's best to slowly move. So what I mean by slowly moving is just having boxes out. Okay, just empty boxes, just have them sitting out. He was playing in them, but he got used to the fact that, okay, when I pull out boxes, we must be going somewhere. We must be doing something soon. And then I'll bring his carrier out. I'll bring his carrier out maybe like a week or two before we actually go anywhere, like move or go to the vet, so that he's not super anxious. Like, he doesn't know when we're leaving, but there is gonna be a day where you have to get in that carrier, so just get comfortable. Tip number 3 is gonna be to bring treats to the new environment. So if you move to a new apartment or just move to a whole new state in a new apartment, put some treats in there so that it can potentially be a positive space for your cat. And so they're already gonna be excited because there's treats in every room, and he'll automatically love it because it's a new environment, there's treats, it's a vibe. Tip number 4, when you go to flight attendant training and you're there for either 4 to 8 weeks, I definitely recommend taking your cat to a kitty camp. I took my cat to a kitty camp. This is if you don't have anyone who can watch them that you trust to watch your cat for that long, and if your cat even likes this person, that's like a big thing too. So, but I recommend a kitty camp. I took mine to a kitty camp and they said that he did well there. They took pictures of him every day, and like I could call and FaceTime whenever I wanted to. It was just a good environment, and plus it was like a boarding facility that only had cats, which I highly recommend. Now that I'm here in Dallas, the boarding places for cats are for cats and dogs, and I'm not really a fan of that because for a cat, that's just way too many new scents, and that would make him really, really nervous because you have new people, like the people that work there, the staff, then you have new cats, then you have the smell of dogs, then you have the dogs barking, the cats meowing, the people talking. It's just way too much. It's like a sensory overload for a cat. So if you can, find a place that has only boarding for cats, but if not, then definitely do the boarding because they will be able to take care of your cat every day versus a person who might have other commitments or may be busy or whatever the case may be. You could also go with the pet sitter option. Now, I've personally never done that, and I only know people who've done that who have dogs because the dogs have to go on walks and they normally bring the dog to their house. However, I don't know anyone who has had a pet sitter for their cat. If you have, let me know down in the comments. Does the person come to your house or do you drop the cat at the pet sitter's house? How does that work and how was your experience? Tip number 5 is going to be to put extra water bowls around the house, and when in doubt, I know this is like kind of unsanitary, but leave the toilet seat up for extra water just in case you are on a trip and let's say there's a snowstorm and you can't get back home. I would hate for you not to have any water left for your cat. There has been a time where I have been stuck somewhere, like maybe like an extra day, and you know, he had like just a little bit of water left. So I make it a count to always have extra bowls, specifically in the winter time. I feel like that's the time where it's like delays, snowstorms, cancellations. So if you're a flight attendant, definitely you want to have, I have at least 2 to 3 water bowls out, and then I just always leave the toilet seat up. I don't think Pepper will ever start drinking water from the toilet seat, but desperate times calls for desperate measures. Tip number 6 is going to be to have a few interactive toys so you can play with your cat, especially when you're home, and even some toys that they can play with while they're gone. Now, I'm very thrifty and budget friendly when it comes to his toys, and they must be under $10 plus tax, shipping, all that. It needs to be budget friendly. So I go to Five and Below and Dollar General and sometimes Ross or Marshalls to get his toys. And now I even started looking on TikTok for like DIY little toys that I can make for him, because honestly they don't play with it that long and it doesn't need to be expensive. So I do have this little toy. It's like a hamburger and he loves this. This toy was only $5 at Five and Below, and I'm sure it'll last for a while. I had another one of these that I bought from Dollar General that was only $1, and I had that one for about 6 years. And then this little piece, the piece that he catches, broke off the actual handle. So that's what made me go to Five and Below and buy this one. So he loves this toy. We also have a laser. He plays with the laser. He likes that toy a lot as well. And then I also have this for him. This is not in the toy section. However, he loves this type of material. And so basically these are 3 different toys. So the first one is kind of like a little ball that has this material. So he's been playing with this one. With all of Pepper's toys, I will leave it out for him when I go on a trip, and then when I come back, I put it up. And that's how you make all the old toys new toys again. Because when I put it up, he's like, where did it go? And then after maybe a week or so, then I bring the toy out and it's brand new again. So highly recommend just putting the toy up. Don't leave it out, okay? Don't do that. Just have the interactive toys that you play with. Also, I try to keep his anxiety down by keeping out these toys to keep him active. And then I also have this, which is, let me see. It's called Fill Away Optimum. It basically releases pheromones to keep your cat calm, and I do feel like this works. So I will plug it in maybe the morning before I leave, and then I'll unplug it. So I don't keep it in the whole 30 days. I'll just keep it in during my trip, and then when I come back, then I take it out. So we're not like using it up, because he is calm when I'm here. I just feel like the anxiety goes up when I leave. So I highly recommend one of these as well. Tip number 7 is gonna be to add some wet food to their diet and pumpkin. So this is the pumpkin that I get at PetSmart. It comes in a small little can, as you guys can see, because they do have a big one, but there's no way to preserve a big can. So I get these small mini cans, and then I like this brand. I think it's called Applause. Pepper loves this brand. He will clean the bowl. So I use this and I'll pour it all in there, and then I'll put like a little teaspoon of this, and then I put the rest in a Ziploc bag and I put it in the refrigerator. So these last about a week. And so basically I'll add it to his food at least once a day with his wet food. And pumpkin helps with constipation. So naturally your cat may be stressed if you're going out of town, if you're leaving he or she for a couple of days. And stress is going to weaken the immune system. And your cat may or may not experience constipation. So this will help with constipation, the pumpkin, and the wet food will also help with just keeping the moisture in the body. Because as you know, cats don't really like to drink that much water. So this is how you get them. Oh, and I put these 2 together, and then I add a little bit of water in there. So it's soupy. Then I mix it all up. And Pepper cleans the bowl. Now, honestly, anytime I give him wet food, like even when it's these like chunks of food, I always add water to it and he will finish it. I think he just likes that broth texture. So I always add water to all of his wet food meals. Tip number 8 is going to be to schedule in playtime. Of course, with this new lifestyle, being a flight attendant and having this new schedule, you're going to be gone, you're going to be tired when you come home, but you definitely want to incorporate some playtime. For me, I'll set reminders on my phone, and sometimes when I'm watching TV, I make sure to brush him for at least 10 minutes or until he moves away. And then I will try to incorporate like standing outside on the balcony with him for like 10 minutes in the morning or 10 minutes at night, just so he can get some fresh air. or I would just walk around within my apartment with him so he can get some steps in, because all he been doing is probably inside sleeping. So those are just little ways that I like to incorporate a little bit of play and exercise. And sometimes while I'm eating breakfast, I'll just grab the laser and just, you know, move it around just so he can have something to do while I'm eating and it's not too much effort on my end. Tip number 9 is going to be to play some cat music while you're gone. If you look on YouTube, you can type in cat music and then they have like a playlist that's like 8 hours long of music. You could also like leave your TV on or maybe leave a radio on or something. You want to have some noise playing in the background just so your cat cannot go crazy with the silence. However, if you're somewhere where outside of your window there's a lot of like action going on, that works as well. Also, in the winter time, I do turn my heat off when I'm gone. However, I will have a space heater that I leave on, and typically Pepper likes to sit next to that. So I'll leave the space heater on low, so that way, just in case it's like freezing cold in here, he has something. In the summers, I will leave the temperature to about 75. And I mean, I would leave it up to 78, but the only reason why I don't do that is because then I feel like I smell his litter box a little bit more, and I don't like that. So 75 is my sweet spot when I'm gone, and then when I come back, then I turn it back down. And my last tip for you guys is going to be to put a bird feeder outside of your window. If you guys have like a tree, a bush or something, or even if you just hang it over the like balcony area and birds come, that is like perfect cat entertainment, and it will entertain your cat all day while you're gone. I have one and my cat loves it. So those are going to be my top 10 tips to help you in your new flight attendant lifestyle and helping your cat adjust to this lifestyle and stay preoccupied while you're gone. Of course, all cats are not the same. I do have friends who are also flight attendants who have cats, and they have no problem. They love when their owner leaves. They get the house to themselves. They like it. But my cat has separation anxiety, so you know, it's a hit or miss. Your cat may be fine with it. There may be no changes, but you definitely want to stay on top of it. Also, I wanted to say that with my cat, he has like the separation anxiety and his fur sheds a lot. So the vet recommended that he start taking fish oil pills, and they tell me to like just sprinkle it in with his wet food. However, Pepper is smart and he won't eat the food at all if I put any of the fish oil in there. So we're gonna have to find another way to finesse him to eat this fish oil so that we can protect his fur and his coat. If you guys know any tips, definitely let me know down in the comments. I hope you guys found these tips helpful. Be sure to like the video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Here we are, Pepper and I, going on our walks, getting our steps in. Normally I'm walking in front, giving Pepper a guide as to where we're going, and he does follow me, so I don't have to worry about him running off. And we just do a couple laps, and then here he is taking a break. I guess he's ready to get in the house, rolling around. But yes, this is one way to meet your neighbors. Take your cat on a walk and get some steps in. But trust me, one thing about it, I ain't got to worry about Pepper just sitting outside. He will come home if I start walking off. But alright guys, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Bye. And one, and strut, and strut, and one, and two, and one, and two.